Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to something a little bit different. Welcome back to our very first broadcast, not from Australia, but from Polonia, from Poland instead. Welcome. Hope everyone has been having a great time, a great week, and I made it. We made it. We made it all the way to Poland. For those that maybe were unaware, we have been traveling, and the reason why I wasn't able to cast this event live is because it was actually occurring as we were traveling. So ESL Open Cup Americas occurred, I want to say 2 days ago, around 48 hours ago. So these games are not live. They're not going to be live. They're going to be broadcasted via replays instead. And I have to catch up. I can't go a week without catching up with ESL Americas or Asia. And we may even try and dabble in some ESL Open Cup Europe as well, since now I'm in a proper time zone for that. I'm in a decent time zone for EU. I'm also, it's a little bit daunting, but I believe KSL is now at an awful time for us. KSL is, it's at like 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. So that's going to be interesting to try to stay awake and cover that. But regardless, yeah, good to be back. Hope everyone has been enjoying themselves. Things may be a little bit different. The big thing is, for now, we're not using cams. So, for now, no cameras. We'll try to get that going at some point in the coming days. Likewise, my voice may sound a little bit different as well. If you have any feedback, give, so then we can adjust some audio settings. We can work on some things and make sure that everything is as ideal as possible. So yeah, hopefully everything stays together. The stream was going down earlier, but everything should be stable from here on forward. So look forward to the upcoming games. As a reminder, these events were actually live a couple of days ago. We're going to be going over those replays now because we weren't able to cover them live at the time, so we are playing catch up. Likewise, we may delve into some Europe casts later, some ESL Open Cup Europe. Otherwise, all good. Streaming while OS, what a boss. Always. Always. The show must go on. The show must go on. Thankfully, casts are going to be easing up a little bit. So we just wrapped up with Masters Coliseum. Fun fact, we just wrapped up with all of Masters Coliseum. That was a month-long broadcast. And now in the absence of Masters Coliseum, with IEM Katowice around the corner, a lot of events are kind of like easing up. And yeah, as a result, you know, we can take things, I can chill out a little bit here, especially now that I'm, you know, in Poland. And I'm definitely looking forward to IEM Katowice around the corner, which is a week from now, which is a week from today. So keep an eye out for that. I won't be casting the events, but I'll be there in person. We'll be enjoying it from afar, from the crowd. And if anyone in the chat is going to be at IEM, let us know. Let us know, and we can maybe catch up. We can hang out. We can, yeah, enjoy the event together. Meanwhile, we're going to be diving into our first series. You can see it here on screen. Up first, we have ByuN versus PartinG. It's going to be a TVP, the return of PartinG once again, and this is a rematch, by the way. For those that are unawares, PartinG has returned to the game of StarCraft, I believe, for the past month or so. He has been competing, and he has had some interesting results. A bit of a mixed bag overall, but the big one is that last week in ESL Open Cup Americas in 211, PartinG did actually beat ByuN. And it was a 2-0. It was a 2-0 as well. We didn't get to cast it, so I'm looking forward to covering the rematch here. Now, PartinG still ended up losing in the next round to Clem, but, I mean, it's Clem. Clem, he's one of the best Terran players in the world right now. But again, I missed out on PartinG versus ByuN, so I'm really curious to see how they face off here and now, and if PartinG can replicate that success, or if it was a one-off thing, and if ByuN is now going to be taking PartinG a little bit more seriously instead. That is what I'm curious about, but here we go. We're going to be getting into game number 1. It's going to be on Hecate. Oh my god, that's premature. Oh, hold on, I need to fix that. Okay, but here we go. We're loading into our first series of the night. We're going to be going through a couple of matches from the round of 16 into the round of 8 before we cover the semifinals and then the grand finals at the end. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the returning ex-military Protoss, the red Protoss player, representing himself, currently teamless. It is PartinG. When it comes to audio levels, let us know if the microphone should be a little bit louder, or if maybe we should be bumping up or bumping down the fanfare as well. Let us know. Again, I am on my laptop. For those, I should have said this earlier. I'm on my laptop instead of my, of course, regular home PC setup. So settings are a little bit different in general, and yeah, hope everything looks good getting into this. And if it doesn't, we can of course refine and you know, clean things up for later broadcasts. Still plan on going live as often as possible on almost a daily basis here on the CranKy Ducklings. We'll do our best. We'll do our best. As we're getting into our openers here, we do have ByuN getting across the map. It is going to be an economic opener, very economic. A gate expand out of PartinG. Very greedy build here. So typically we'd go for a gate cyber expand. Fun fact, this SCV was designed to eBay block. We were supposed to be eBay blocking here at the natural base. We get here, there's already a base thrown down, and now it's on now it's on ByuN to punish this. It is going for a Rax into a factory, into a proxy across the map. We are poised for a proxy starport. Factory is on the way, and this is a good way to try to punish the greed here of PartinG, to try to get into something like Hellion drops and Hellion harass. It is something that ByuN can go for, and yeah, we'll see if he does end up committing to that. The other thing this could be is we could be going into Reactor Hellion into Liberator instead. We could be seeing a Liberator going into the main base, Hellions towards the natural, and still regardless looking for some economic damage here. Meanwhile, PartinG yet to throw down his tech. We'll still figure out what direction he wants to go in. We'll still figure out if he wants to go into Phoenixes or Blink Stalkers. I imagine because it's PartinG and he has an aggressive reputation, it's gonna be Blink Stalkers, but we'll see. We'll see if he goes for the Twilight Council. Meanwhile, factory is done. Show us that starport as the proxy is upon us, and there it is. Starport is on the way. As I mentioned, this should either be a proxy medevac to go for a Hellion drop, or be a proxy liberator and go for like a multi-pronged aggression, and both kind of units coming into harass at the same time. Meanwhile, PartinG went for a Zealot first. Not going to be able to make full use of it. Yeah, we're going to shut it down. Zealot is going to be forced back at depth as well. We are here to deny any kind of low ground expand. We have already seen the factory is done. We're going to be dipping in even further, and we do barely catch a glimpse here of the CC. So good scouting here from PartinG. He does confirm that it's not a one base all in. Behind this, it is a Twilight Council opener. It is going to be Blink Stalkers from PartinG. For the time being, only 2 gateways. This can go into 3 gates, for example. This could go into 3-gate Blink Stalker, could be into 4, or could just be 2-gate Blink into a 3rd base. There's different kind of forms of aggression available here to PartinG, or forms of greedy. Meanwhile, ByuN, medevac drop. It is going to be a Hellion drop into the main base. We are looking for that economic damage. Again, we need to punish the greed of PartinG. We'll see if we can. It isn't just that PartinG opened up economically, it's also the fact that ByuN delayed his CC in favor of this build. So ByuN, he's putting himself behind in a way to get damage done. And here we go, the Hellion drop goes straight for the main. We're going straight for the main base. Meanwhile, inside main, do you have a spotted pylon? PartinG, he has a little bit of time to react here, and he does pull away. Boys, they're bunching up. There's only one Stalker. There's only one Stalker to defend, and a lot of probes are getting roasted. 7 workers go down. 11 probes go down. Again, it takes 3 shots to one-shot a worker, and there's plenty to pull that off. We're not done. We drop here towards that natural base. Boys are pulled once again. So much lost mine time. 12 dead workers and lost mine time in both bases as well. Good damage, and what's scary here is that we're not done. The Hellions are still alive. We can go back in for another drop. That's exactly what ByuN does, and PartinG is late to react. Very late reaction here. More workers going to be falling. It was 12, and now we're going up to 50. Oh my god, we're not done! As finally we're going to be cleaning this up. The Hellions, one of them does actually be dropped here towards the natural base. PartinG regains control of his main base, but looking at the units tab here, 18 dead workers. For 3 Hellions behind this, ByuN, he's happily getting into his 2-base setup. We are floating that starport back home. It's going to be a 2-1-1 setup here. Tank production has commenced. The tanks are so important here for ByuN. Again, PartinG is forced into reaction. He's forced into a counterattack. We are sending out whatever we can. As we can see, there's not much. There's a handful of Stalkers. There's a handful of units on the ground. And as the tank count gets higher, ByuN is safer and safer. So far, he has dealt critical damage, and there's no way to punish him. There is no way to punish him with what we have. We have a couple of units being fanned out. Prism is on the way. How many gateways do we have to work with? We have three. 3 gates in total. This is not enough to go for a big counterattack. It's enough to apply pressure, but not the pressure that PartinG needs. As PartinG is coming across a couple of buildings here and there, he gets some value for his army, which is good. But PartinG is still behind. And ByuN, what's scary here is that he's building up on 2 bases. He throws down the 3rd Rax. He's going for a big tank timing. The Observer, does get spotted, does get shut down. Stim is about to finish, and soon we will push. PartinG behind this, still recovering, still resaturating, still behind in probes, despite all the resaturation that he's been trying to conduct. On 2 bases, he's going to delay his 30 even further. He takes up towards Templar Archives. This can help. Storm is definitely a way to come back, both defending against armies and even harassing against mineral lines. There's a lot of potential with High Templar, with Storm, but we need time to get there. Meanwhile, Prism Drop going to be threatening that main. ByuN, he is in position. And we're going to be... Oh my god, no! We're going to be able to shut down the Prism. And yeah, that's it. That's going to be game. That was maybe like the only chance that PartinG would have at coming back is to harass. And we had already lost so much. To lose the Prism as well, that was the cherry on top. And GG, well played. Ooh, this will go the way of ByuN. At least game 1. Game number 1. Ooh, GG here. And there wasn't really much to be had in that game, to be honest. Like, the Hellion drop did kind of seal the deal for ByuN. He was able to shut him down. Had to turn you up, but it's all equal. Oh. Okay. May have to turn myself up. Just a little bit. It's okay. Beautiful. So, with that, game 1 is in the books. Again, there wasn't really too much to game 1. ByuN, he did win the game with his Hellion drop. So, to be fair, big reasons to why it dealt so much damage. If you remember, PartinG was being greedy. That's why ByuN went for the proxy starport, because PartinG had gone for such a greedy opener that ByuN felt necessary to punish, felt necessary to try to be in the face of PartinG. And with that, he found a lot of success. Did find a lot of success in the end, and now we find ourselves in game number 2 to see if we can force the ace match. Can PartinG bring this back, or will this be a 2-0, and will ByuN get his revenge? We shall see. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player leading the series 1-0, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, currently teamless, but again, he's been back for less than a month, I want to say. Just under a month, but he still achieves so much. Can he fight back? Can he force the ace match? It is PartinG. Here we go. So thanks for the feedback. I did put my microphone up a little bit. I bumped it up a little bit, and hopefully it is solid from there. For now, though, hello, Mr. ByuN. Hello, SCV. What are we planning here? As we do have 1 Rax back at home, and we have 1 Rax across the map as well. So ByuN is going to be opening up with a 2 Rax. It is a variation on 2 Rax. This isn't as aggressive as Proxy 2 Rax, for example, but this can still escalate out of control. And I'm concerned, because PartinG is going for another gate expand. Very greedy build here. 2 games in a row. It's a gate expand before the Cybercore, and ByuN, of course, is looking to try to punish this. Now, because the Cybercore is late, that means the Adept is going to be delayed. It means the Stalker is going to be delayed. It means that these Reapers are going to get a lot done. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself because that's actually a Marine. We have a Marine first here across the map. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a Reaper proxied. No! Oh my god! Okay! Instead of going for proxy Reapers, we are massing Marines and we're going for a proxy Marauder, it looks like. This should be concussive shell. That's what the gases are for. This is suddenly much more committed. We have an SCV to throw down a bunker as well. This is unscattered. Now, PartinG, it's the same build as game one for PartinG, where he goes Zealot first. He's going to be scouting. He's going to be checking the edges of the map, but he barely does miss the proxy. There are the Marauders that we spoke about, and PartinG is going to be in a lot of trouble, especially if he cuts more corners. Right now, there's no safety shield battery, for example. There's no reason to throw it down, but this Zealot Scout needs to tell him how much danger he's in, as Marines are already amassing, and we're pushing out. Now, thankfully, this Zealot is going to confirm the Marines, as we reveal ourselves, and it is going to be a Stargate opener, not a Twilight Council. This is terrifying because we're going to be opening up Oracle, if we open up Phoenix, that's going to be disastrous because we're going to have nothing to defend. Zealot Adept, we do move out towards the main base. Reactors on the way, very delayed CC. Marauders are amassing, and there is literally nothing at home to defend. We need to recall back home with what we have. We do have enough NG for a recall, and here we go. The Marauders do reveal themselves. Recall is used here at the natural. Bunker is being turned down. The boys, they have to be pulled. So far, good reactions here out of PartinG, but the Marines, they have arrived. SCV goes down. A bit of a blunder there by ByuN. Did not preserve that SCV. But the pylon is falling. That's a shield battery. That's the second pylon. It's going to be canceled. Going to be denied. Void Ray is on the way. Oracle instead. Oracle is going to be a little bit faster to produce. It is an energy-based unit. It will take longer to really kill everything, but it is on the way. As we're still just rallying more Marines and Marauders across the map. 4 probes go down. And we focus down another one of those Adepts. There's one Adept left. It's going to fall, and now we can just wreak havoc. We take control of the natural. The gateway is depowered. The Oracle is about to pop out, and we'll clean up the Marines. And should work his way through the Marauders as well. Can we depower the Stargate? Okay. That was a little bit ambitious. Stargate will not be depowered. We go for the probes instead. Everything will be cleaned up, but we get 8, soon to be 9 probe kills. Oracle is out of energy, and we're still just rallying across the map. We still have an army. It's going to be 9 workers in total. ByuN just regrouping, backing off. He's got Stim on the way. Factory CC has been built. And PartinG, he's in a lot of trouble. He's hurting so much right now. He's down in workers. Just now rebuilding. The Oracle, no shot. The stutter stepping in by ByuN. He does manage to kill one of those Oracles. The other barely has any energy left. He can barely activate his Pulsar Beam. And ByuN, he arrives once again. And this gateway, it's just never really going to be able to be powered here. A Stalker has arrived. Do you have another Oracle? Hey, we're going to be able to clean this up. But not before losing another one of those pylons. And behind this, ByuN just has to chill. He's just going to be calming things down, preserving his army, rallying back home. Cyclone production has commenced. I wouldn't be surprised if from here we go for a second Rax. And it's going to be, yep, another Rax is on the way. So basically what's happening here is that ByuN, he's delaying his starport. He's laying his starport, he's laying his medevacs, laying drop play in favor of building up a massive army and looking to snowball out of control. And PartinG, he does scout this, he's aware, but he can't really do anything about it. He needs to try to keep ByuN back at home. He needs to try to cripple him, keep him busy, contain him, do whatever he can to just survive. Behind this, we can see that PartinG is transitioning out of Stargate production into a Twilight Council, into Blink Stalkers. It's a bit of an awkward transition here out of PartinG, but he needs to. Like, again, Oracles and Phoenixes are not going to help him in this situation. Not anymore. Speaking of, Stalkers are amassing. Third base soon to be on the way. Back at home. ByuN just focusing on dealing with these Oracles. And did we kill one? We killed 2. Bit of a misstep there by PartinG. He did lose another one of his Oracles. He's down to 1 Oracle left here. The only thing keeping tabs on ByuN. Big revelation. Gets eyes on all the production. That is going to be Starport. Another Rax on the way. It's going to be a 3-1-1 setup here on 2 bases by ByuN. Still no third CC. We don't need a third CC. ByuN should be pushing here with his army. And PartinG, he's trying to cut corners. He's going for a fast third. But he needs to get away with this third base. This is how he catches back up. This is how PartinG can start a comeback if he can get his third base up and running. That's a big if there. That is going to be a big if for PartinG. Across the map, he's going to be dancing with the army, hoping to bait it into the stasis trap. The goal, at least. As the third is still on the way. Meanwhile, ByuN's still amassing his army. He's already got Stim, he's already got Concussive Shell, but he's still waiting for Combat Shields. Combat Shields is still in production alongside all of our medevacs to sustain ourselves. Tank production about to commence as well. PartinG can't push in, but his goal is to just pick off whatever he can, whether it's a medevac, a marine, even an SCV, whatever he can get. Behind this is getting into his gateway explosion, is going up towards 6 gates. 6 gateways, charges on the way. I imagine soon to be a Templar Archives with Storm, with Archons. Ooh, never mind. We're avoiding Archons. We're going for a Robotics Bay. Okay. It's going to be 8 gates. Okay, so it's going to be an 8-gate charge timing here with, I imagine, Colossus behind this, maybe Disruptors. But before we can think about that next step, that next set of tech, ByuN, he's getting ready. Once we get this next wave of medevacs and tank outs, we should be pushing. Like, there's still no third CC. The longer this game goes on without a third base for ByuN, the more trouble he's going to be in. The stasis! Big stasis trap here on the army. PartinG, he can maybe take a fight, but no, instead he bypasses the army instead. Goes straight for the main base. Ooh, we'll pick off a tank. Good juggling out of ByuN. Very nice juggling. Keeps his army alive. At the same time, they drop into the main base. 19 probes go down. 1 drop full of Marines here. We wreak havoc. We kill every single worker in the main base. An insane amount of damage. And with the recall being forced, ByuN, he's pushing. He's moving out across the map. He's going for the kill move here. He's already crippled the economy. 19 probes. That is insane. Again, PartinG was hyper fixated here on the drop. So were we. As a result, 19 workers went down. A late reaction out of PartinG. I don't blame him for being distracted, but that does kind of seal the deal here. PartinG has no more longevity in this game. He needs to win a decisive fight. Colossus in production. He dives on the army. Good force fields. Very nice force fields behind this. The Zealots try to break through, but there just are not enough Zealots. Good target fighting with the tanks. Zealots go down. 1 tank did fall. The overcharge being popped. PartinG, we can hold. We can barely hold on. That overcharge is putting in a lot of work. It's slowing ByuN down. Meanwhile, ByuN bringing forward a 2nd tank. The first Colossus has arrived. PartinG, he's pulling this off, and ByuN is getting a 3rd base on location. And we do force his back. A very nice hold here from PartinG. He collapses on the tanks. He's going to be able to get both of them. Did lose a lot of Stalkers in the process, and has he overextended? A little bit. It's so good. We have reinforcements. PartinG forcing ByuN back. Now, ByuN still has a lead, but PartinG, what's important about what just happened? He retains his workers at the 3rd base. If only he hadn't lost 19 probes in the main. That's the problem. PartinG is on 2-base saturation. If he had his 3rd base up and running, that would have been a good fight. That would have been an amazing fight for him, and he would be at a lead. He could afford a 2nd robo. He could afford double Colossus production. Because he still has no saturation or very little saturation in the main, he's pretty all in. Like, ByuN may not have killed PartinG, but he has maimed him. And PartinG is struggling here to just resaturate. Now he's getting full saturation in the main base. Now we're getting into robo production. Now we get the 2nd robo as well. But again, this could all have been faster if we hadn't lost so many probes. That's the thing. Like, PartinG, he's 1 or 2 steps behind where he should be. Which is also why, again, it's impressive that he survived. It's impressive that he held against the first push. But that doesn't tell the entire story here, as ByuN still is looking terrifying with his tanks, with his Marines, with his Marauders. 4th base on the way. Just like before, PartinG, his win condition or his goal here is to buy time. He has to buy time to allow this 4th base to get up and running. Before that can happen though, ByuN, he dives in! He goes for the dive, picks off a Colossus. Big pick off there by ByuN. PartinG slows him down, throws down a couple of force fields. But PartinG, he is in some trouble. Disruptors are on the way. We're making soon to be 2 at a time. There is a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential here in Disruptors, in those Novas. Meanwhile, ByuN, he bypasses the main army. PartinG doesn't see. He has no vision. He has no vision of this area, which means this 4th base, it's going to be cancelled. Yeah, PartinG, he's out of position. He's rotating around. Base is going to be cancelled. Disruptors, they do move out. Ooh, good splits here out of ByuN. Good dodge overall. We have a couple of force fields, but we expose our Colossus. Overcharge is not going to be good enough. And ByuN, he's laying siege upon this base. Get no splash damage. The disruptors, they need a little bit more time. The Colossus count was reset. Nova goes off. And it just does not connect. GG gets called, and ByuN will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. Not just that, but also getting his revenge here, as ByuN was 2-0'd last week by PartinG. Now he's the one doing the 2-0-ing. GG, well played. Again, a solid series there out of ByuN. Game 1, it did feel like it ended before it really began. Game 1 was unfortunate, unfortunately. It did end quite quickly. But what I will say is that thankfully in our next games, or in game number 2, it was more of a back and forth. And again, if only PartinG hadn't lost so many workers, if only he had been able to preserve some probes, then he would have been in a much better position. He would have been in a commanding position after deflecting the first push. It was very impressive. I was very impressed with how PartinG was able to engage, able to control his army, and deal with ByuN when he was pushing towards the third base. Unfortunately, just wasn't enough. Just was not enough. And with that, ByuN advances on into the quarterfinals, and we're also going to be heading into the quarterfinals as well, and we're going to be finding ourselves in a very different series, in a very different matchup. Meanwhile, I can see in the chats, be wary of the bracket command. As a reminder, these games were played a couple of days ago. We unfortunately weren't able to cast it live, but we are here to catch up with what we missed out on in these past couple of days. And up next, it is going to be a ZVP between Solar and MaxPax. Let's go. So ByuN, he gets his revenge. Again, PartinG, when it came to his army control, looked impressive, but what he was a little bit lacking in is his tunnel visioning. He was tunnel visioning on his opponent. His defenses did fall by the wayside as a result. ByuN advances on. Up next, Solar versus MaxPax. This is going to be an interesting one here. This is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss, and both these players are looking good. Now, we casted both Solar and MaxPax in Masters Coliseum. MaxPax did bow out very early on in that tournament, which is a shame. Like, this event, or Masters Coliseum, that was supposed to be MaxPax's series. That was supposed to be MaxPax's tournament to have a deep run, because he's not going to be at IEM. But MaxPax, he did struggle against Hero, he struggled against Dark, but maybe he can redeem himself here against Solar. Again, Europe versus Korea, it's always a blast to see these two face off against each other. And something that I should reiterate is that even though MaxPax may have lost in Masters Coliseum to players like Dark and players like Hero, Solar is a very different kind of player. Solar, he's less aggressive, he's more macro-oriented, he's more predictable as a result, and I do think that MaxPax fares far better against a player like Solar than he would against someone that's more unpredictable and aggressive like Dark, for example. So yeah, this is going to be a really good matchup, and I look forward to it.